Welcome, my friends, to the modern university. From the post-millennial, biology professor fired from Texas college after saying sex is determined by chromosomes. Students complained about his religious preaching, discriminatory comments about homosexuals and transgender individuals, anti-abortion rhetoric, and misogynistic banter. Now, of course, that subheader, a lot more than him just saying it's because he said sex is determined by chromosomes. But apparently they walked out when he said it, and this was the catalyst. The current state of the modern university. So I want to read you this story, but I have a question for all of you. Why are you sending your kids to college? Serious question. Why would you even consider it? I get super chats on Timcast IRL. We have guests and they're like, my kid's going to college. And I'm like, are you nuts? Do you have any idea? Like you have to know what's happening in these places. And then you get the leftists that are like, college should be free because then people get good jobs. And I'm like, that's not how it works. Skills give you good jobs. Entrepreneurship, capabilities. Your kid will be better off learning how to make birdhouses than going to college. Because a birdhouse you can sell. You make enough of them. Start a business. Expand your business. College? Yeah, some schools make sense if you want to be a lawyer or something. But trade school is probably better if you want a good job. The Post-Millennial reports. At St. Philip's College in San Antonio, biology professor Johnson Varkey was fired after 20 years of teaching. 4 students walked out of his class after he reiterated that sex is determined by chromosomes. According to a letter sent to the college by First Liberty Legal Group, Varkey received an email from Randall Dawson, the vice president for academic success, on January 10th, 2023. The email stated, I am sending you notification that Alamo College's District Human Resources Department is in receipt of an ethics violation complaint from JBSA Lackland related to your facilitation of the BIOL 2402 class during the Flex 2 Fall 2022 term. After Varkey responded to the email asking what the violation was, Dawson did not respond. However, Varkey received a notice informing him of his termination of employment on January 27th. The notice claimed that there was several complaints about religious preaching, discriminatory comments, et cetera, et cetera. We read that part. According to the letter from First Liberty, the incident with the students walking out happened on November 28th, 2022, after he said, quote, sex was determined by chromosomes X and Y. The letter says that although Varkey is a devout Christian, he never mentioned them in class and did not preach any of his beliefs. According to the letter, he had been speaking this way about the biological nature of sex for his whole time at St. Philip, and no other students have ever complained about the basic scientific comments. The letter alleges that as a result of the firing, Varkey has a right to legal damages under the First Amendment and other legal protections. As a public university, St. Philip is subject to the protections given under such laws. The letter states, St. Philip's College violated Title VII when it terminated Dr. Varkey because of his religious beliefs and protected speech. The only reason the college gave for firing him was the student complaints of religious preaching, discriminatory comments about homosexuals and transgender individuals, anti-abortion rhetoric, and misogynistic banter. It goes on to say that while Dr. Varkey never preached or proselytized in class, the accusation of religious preaching was clearly in connection with the fact that he serves as an associate pastor. The letter says that legal action will be taken if Varkey is not reinstated. Send your kids to college, by all means. And don't be surprised when they come out with their heads shaven, telling you that biological sex doesn't exist and that anybody who chooses to get pregnant can. You know what I really love about the whole gender ideology debate? They've been talking about doing uterus implants, and I think they've successfully done one in a woman. And for this, you now have trans women, biological males, saying the bigots are going to be so, shocked when they do a uterus implant into a male and allow them to carry a baby. Only problem is pelvis. Yeah. The male pelvis cannot deliver a baby. It does not, it didn't evolve that way. And so there's this funny video where you have the male and female pelvis and then there's like a baby and you can pull a lever and it pushes the baby through or pushes the baby out or whatever. And the male pelvis, it can't. And the female pelvis, it can. Because women have babies. They have wider hips. It's so weird. We know this. I love that meme where it shows 2 skeletons And it's like, it's so beautiful because you never know if they're male or female or black or white, just two people who loved each other. And someone's like, actually, we can tell based on, the pronounced forehead, this person on the left is male. And based on the mandibular jaw, blah, blah, blah. It's like an Asian person. And the person on the right is a female, probably white, Caucasian, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, they actually do know. Yes. Based on your skeleton, they can determine so much about you. Here's the really funny thing about all of it. AI knows better than we do. There are subtleties in all things that we cannot detect. But when you load in 1 million data points into a computer, it can find patterns we did not even think to look for. It could find that men are more likely to sniffle 3 times in winter on a Sunday. We just don't know because we don't look for it because it's so microscopic. But when all the data is loaded into the computer, it can easily sort out patterns and show this person's a man. How do you know that? Because they stub their toe more often. Really? Yeah. Men have longer middle toes. Maybe that means they stub their toes more often. Computers can see all of that. So when these people come out and say there's no different, that is regressive. It's regressive. The differences are pronounced. The patterns are obvious. And as we integrate AI more and more into all of our workings, everything's becoming obvious. It's crazy. There's this app. It's really cool. It's called Picture This. And you can take a picture of any plant and it will tell you what that plant is. I go outside and I'm like, oh, there's some kind of berry. Can I eat it? And it's like, yeah, you can. And I'm like, that's fantastic. Non-toxic to humans, it says. AI taking a picture, scanning it, associating the patterns in that image with every other image of the similar plant, and now it knows. That is incredible. You know what that means? It means you can do the same thing for a person. Take a picture of their face, and no matter what surgeries they had, no matter what makeup they're wearing or wig, it will be able to tell you it's a male or female. I'm not saying to be mean to anybody. That's just a fact. We're seeing a lot of really weird stuff. I'll add this one to the story. Planned Parenthood is banned across Saskatchewan after supplying 9th graders with sexually explicit cards. This is crazy. Planned Parenthood Regina in Saskatchewan delivered a seminar to grade 9 students and offered a game that included descriptions of extreme sex acts. The organization was banned from schools after parents complained. The local school district said it wasn't aware the inappropriate material would be offered after the seminar. It's a shift, man. People are starting to say no more. Now, this is in Canada, of all places. But I love this. I want to show you this image. Look at this. Cathodilia, being attracted to one's television set. Yes, that is one hot little box. It's always obedient, and you never fail to turn it on. If the sight of your remote gives you wood, you might have cathodilia. What? I'm sorry, dude. Look, we respect it when two people love each other, and we want to protect that. I believe that there is a natural reason for homosexual tendencies. I'm trying to be academic here. So why is it that it's possible? Well, it exists because evolution allows it to exist. Granted, they won't have children biologically because you need a male and a female to procreate. But why could it be that two males want to be together? There have been instances throughout history where a man's family dies and it's just him and his children. And by pair bonding with anyone available, success is more likely. Same for females. The females, all the men could be off hunting and get killed or fall off a cliff, and the women band together and form bonds to help raise the kids and survive. That to me makes sense. Why would someone be attracted to a television set? That is probably a mental disorder. In that, probably in the DSM-5, I'd imagine, paraphilias of some sort. Television sets didn't exist. They're new things. The idea that you could be attracted sexually to an inanimate object suggests a disorder. There is no evolutionary benefit, no rhyme or reason. It's just something someone experiences. Now, even that being said, I think they should be allowed to live their lives and be happy, fine, if they want to have their television sets around. But I think we got to be honest about this conversation. And perhaps we should not be pushing these things onto kids. So Planned Parenthood gets banned. But I'll tell you, it's all part of the same thing. When they start pushing this stuff on kids and they claim things like biological sex doesn't exist, they're lying. They believe in crazy cult nonsense. The famous video from several years ago of that biologist debating Jordan Peterson saying it is not true, according to this professor that claimed, they said there was no biological sex. As a historian of medicine, it's false. Clearly and obviously false to anybody with any amount of common sense. but it's where we currently are. If you're a professor who believes it, they will fire you. So I say it again. Send your kids to these schools. Tell me how it goes. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. tonight at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see y'all then.